So it says on Zoom that we're live, but we're actually not live yet. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'll let you know when we go live on YouTube.
Okay, perfect. So you have to connect it to YouTube via YouTube, or does Zoom allow you to connect it to another website?
So on YouTube, sorry, I just want to make sure that. Oh no, are we live right now? What is going on here? Oh, I don't know what happened. Usually there's a little button I click on YouTube that says go live, but apparently we're already live.
Oh, okay. Hello, everyone.
So sorry,
That was
everybody.
fast.
Normally there's another little button that I'm supposed to press after connecting us from the Zoom account to the YouTube. So we are currently live. Hi, everybody. My name is Brittany. So sorry for the little hiccup there. I guess you guys can see a little bit of the back process on there. You can see a little bit behind the scenes magic. So without further ado, I'm just gonna get started here. Hi, my name is Brittany. We are from Escher Studio today. We have an amazing artist from Austria named Sarah Postner.
Hi there.
So today,
right.
Sarah's going to be doing a beautiful lion for us. And without further ado, let's just get all started. Sarah, we can look at some examples of your style a little bit after, just before the Q&A.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. So hello, everyone. I'm really happy to be here and to show you how to be able to draw a lioness by heart, hopefully by the end. So the first thing I want you to do is get a pen and any piece of paper and try drawing a lioness face by heart, just like how you remember it. And it doesn't need to be perfect, just for you to have an before and an after drawing and to see the improvement afterwards. So that would be great. I'll switch to my paper here because we don't have that much time. Let's see if that works. Not yet. Let's try it differently. I'll switch back and try it again. So I have my camera up here. Yes, now let's turn it around a little bit. I hope everyone can see. Please tell me if you don't. But I think
I can see it.
Nice. Okay. So I provide a few photos that you can find, I think, in the description. Usually I look for some that are license free, so royalty free. Usually I do that on Pixabay or Unsplash. That are the two most useful websites for these. So if you use these as reference photos, usually you can use them for commercial projects as well. So if you want to sell your painting or your drawing later, there's no problem at all. And the photographers are fine with that. Yeah, but usually if you do studies, you actually can use any website when you don't sell your work. Just for you to practice, you can just Google lioness face, or whatever you want to draw or learn how to draw, and you can sketch those. So, and also what's sometimes is very nice to go on YouTube and watch YouTube videos, because sometimes there's not very good photos of some animals, but there's very good videos, and you can stop the videos and use these for anatomy practice, for example, and for some movements, for some different ones, and those are quite useful as well. So I think we can start with this one because I really like this one because it just looks straight and it's not a little bit from the side, and this is a really good one to begin with. And when I want to learn how to draw them by heart, usually the first thing I do is look at the shapes of the face in this case. And here I see it's quite round, so I just start out sketching like a circle. Oh, sorry, next time I'll go bigger, but for the shapes I can be smaller. And now you have this big blotch there, that's the mouth. It's not completely round, it's like a little bit lengthy. And I think it starts in the middle of the circle, like here, around there, and goes around there. Let's try it there. Maybe like this. And then the ears, probably around there. And then there's a lot of fat on the side. You can see this is a zoo lion. You can look at the photos, and when you see thin lions, they're usually in the wild. If you see these fat rolls there, they're usually in a zoo. Sometimes they have those folds up there as well. You can see usually on the zoo lions. And then the ears, they're not completely like half circles, but a little bit lengthier. I draw them like this. That's just about the rough shapes now to get it in your feeling kind of. Oh, this is a little bit bigger there. Then here's the back of the nose, I think. And here, around here would be the nose. So around there. And you can follow along if you want or watch the video later. Just to get a feeling together with me how the shapes of the lioness are. Now it goes down there, that's around the angle, doesn't need to be perfect. That's big upper cheeks there. The eyes are quite difficult sometimes because when they look straight, they need to be super symmetrical to look good. And I usually start out with little circles there. And go by feeling and see, okay, comparison to the nose and to the ears, they look about right. And then when you have the circles and they're about the same, you can give them a little bit of shape there. Looks about right, and they have these little blotches over the eyes. So what I find interesting also in lions, for example, usually you would think they just have a brown face and that's it. But they have so many different shades and tones there, like those dark spots over there, over the eyes. A lot of cats have those actually. If you look at tigers, oops, there's a hair. If you look at tigers, for example, they have them too, and usually house cats do have them as well. If you look at tabby cats, I think they're called, they also have those. And right, I think the mouth is a little bit big. I think I'd make that a bit smaller there. Maybe like this. And the chin, if you look at some, they're quite edgy there, like this, but this one looks quite round. So we can make that round as well, and that's very fluffy. And then here where the whiskers come out, and they also have different shapes in different wildcats, if you have a look, and also different number of rows. So these don't have that much. Maybe like this, just for us to get the feeling. If you have a look, what's missing in this sketch, the inner ear. So there's usually a lot of hair there. And then there's dark ear, and they do have a little pocket here. I think dogs have that too, and house cats too. It helps them here. So there's a little dark spot there, and there's a lot of hair here. Down there is also a lot of hair. So we'll go into details later. It's always my problem to go into details too fast. So head shape there. And you also usually see the cheekbones here a little bit. So it's a little bit darker here. That's right below the cheekbones. Shapes the face a little bit. So that's what you usually do. And usually when you have more time, you take a lot of different photos. Also of, let's see, maybe like this. And you see they always have this round shape and then a huge nose. And if you look at the sideway picture, it's almost parallel. If you look at the head, like the mouth, the snout is almost as big as the head itself, just a little bit smaller. In comparison to a house cat, the snout would be like very tiny. So in lions, it's huge. I'll keep that in mind. It's also quite interesting in comparison. So if we go back to that one, maybe we can also notice the whiskers already. They go down and they're not that long. Like in cats and house cats, they go super long. And here in lions, you can see that in the other photos as well. They're rather short and go down. Like this. That's enough just to get a feeling for the lion or the lioness, to gender her right. There's also stripe there, and there's some fluffy bits here. All right, I think we can go into some detail here. So for example, let's do the eyes because they are super important. When you have a feeling of the animal shapes itself and you do some sketching of these, for example, as well, like round shape and large nose, maybe you have this nose there and this here. There's a dark splotch there. Like when you have the feeling, okay, I think I get it, and I can imagine the lion in my head. It's very interesting. Usually we have seen lion heads so many times before, so many times, and we still don't really see them because we can't draw them. There's so many details that we didn't see. That I think a good example is when you look at bikes, when you try to, how many times have we seen bikes before, bicycles, but we still can't draw them correctly. We don't really know where does everything go. It's really strange. So when you draw them, yeah, it is. It's very funny. We had a math teacher who asked us to draw a bike, and it was really funny because we thought everyone knows how a bike looks like, but no, we don't until you have drawn them. And after you have drawn them, it's quite easy and you can remember better. So it's a very nice practice to actually look at things very thoroughly. Like this, so I'd be happy with that. I think kind of got it. Just super loose, don't get lost in the details. And there's cheekbone there, and it goes down there, and this one has the folds I told you about. That's quite a fat line. All right. So the most important things when drawing a face, if it's human or animal face, usually it's the eyes and the nose as well. So I'd focus here on the eyes, because when you, after the shape actually, because you can go into detail, you can draw the best eye ever, but if the lion face has the shape of a toaster, it doesn't matter. It will be really ugly. So get the shape right, get it right, and spend more time there. So different angles from above, from below, because it's super important. And then you can go into detail, which is the most fun bit for me, at least. So when you look at eyes, for example, tiger eyes, we also go from the shape to the details. So the shape, usually I start with a circle, and then I see it's a little bit, it goes like this. I hope you see well. And then there's this dark streak coming down there, and there's the lower eyelid. And lions actually don't have these lengthy pupils like cats do, but they have round ones. I haven't noticed until I've drawn tigers before. So this would be a small one, and when you want to make them look cute, you make them bigger. Like this. They do have round ones. They change like this. And important is also that light splotch there. You can't really see that well here, but maybe in the other photos, because it makes them look more alive. Not really. But even if there's no, here maybe, no light reflection in the eye, usually I add it because it makes the eye look a lot more alive. And there's different shapes from that, but usually I do just one or maybe two, one big and one small one. We can add that on this eye as well from that lion. So if we look at the shape again, there's that dark thing going down there, lower eyelid. There's also a little bit of reflection there. I don't know if you can see it on the lower eyelid because the light's coming from above and reflecting on the lower eyelid there. Now I would make reflection like this, and then do the pupil here. And usually on the iris, usually it's quite dark up there because the light is coming from above, and the upper eyelid is throwing a shadow. So usually up there it's quite dark, almost as dark as the pupil, and it goes lighter when it goes down. And very often there is quite a bright stripe in the middle here. So what I like to do is something like this. You see that in a lot of mangas actually, that kind of eye coloring. So there's a bright part here and a very dark part here, and also gives more form to the eye, makes it look more 3D. And there's the dark part here, all shadowy, and then the eye slowly goes over into the fur up here. So it's not dark and dark and then fur, but you see the fur is slowly starting. So it's not that abrupt as we would think. It's rather smooth when you want to do it like realistically. And what I really love there is you can see that in a lot of different cats as well. There's one bright spot here, and almost always in almost every cat, if they are kind of patchy or tabby or whatever, you have that bright stripe under the eye, which helps them hunt in the night. Actually, it catches the moonlight and throws it to the eye, thanks to that bright stripe. But there's almost always that in tigers as well, bobcats, whatever you look at. That.
Sorry to interrupt you, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
We're about halfway through, just letting you know.
Oh, thank you. That was fast. Okay.
It goes by quick.
It does. Okay. Yeah, so we have a white stripe, and usually it starts quite dark here then, and it runs out. It's very sketchy. Just to get the hang of it. And here is also quite a bright spot, and it goes over into that dark spot over the eye. And here it's the same. It's quite dark and goes over into like a middle tone brown, which is really beautiful. I really love those these eye colors, or colors around the eye actually. And that dark stripe there, it goes almost, it's like to the direction of the nose, but not completely there. It's quite long there. Actually, cheetahs have a stripe from the eye to the side of their mouth. That's one of the things that you can use to actually see why if it's a cheetah or leopard or anything. That's very specific about those. So I think, yes, what's also very nice to see here, I think you can see it, is very often, not just in lions, but also, for example, in dogs and even in birds, they have these lines of fur or feathers going up here and down there. If you see those, they're quite bright, but I think you can see those. And they give the face a very nice shape. So up here it would be here and down there. Yeah, kind of like this. So that's quite good. And if you would go into detail here, there's like a darker spot as well. And these one are brighter as well. So you can go into detail as far as you want. But I think that's about enough for the eye when you draw the eyes. And for the nose, okay, it's there. This is quite a dark one. Maybe we'll choose a different one. Let's see. Maybe the other ones are here. That's a nice one. It has spots as well. Nice. So this looks a lot more different than a cat's nose. If you look at both, like we have these bows here, and cats' noses are often more straight, and we have really huge nostrils. They're really huge, and they go all the way up to the back of here. And the same on the other side. And you have almost always have in cats' noses this middle streak and different colors. As you can see, the last one was black, and here you have a few spots, which makes it easier for us to draw. So we have the basic triangle shape like this, but it's not straight, but we have these bows there, and it goes all the way back here. And here it's also not completely straight, but a little bit wavy. Actually, it's just to draw what you see without judging, and go into detail here curiously. And huge nostrils. Up there, that's about a lion's nose. Nostrils there. And then you can also go into shadowing, like down there. There's a few shadows, and up here it's a little bit darker. And a few spots and splotches. Yeah, that should be fine. So we know now how a lion's nose looks like, especially not only if you watch this, but if you draw it yourself and all the time compare it to the photo, it works a lot better. And then maybe the next thing would be to draw the mouth. One moment, I need to drink a little bit of water. All right, that's a lot of talking. And oops, different pencil. Oh, by the way, I use the 5B pencil, so that's quite dark for you to see better. If you do a normal drawing, I would recommend using different pencils, because this one is really dark. And if you use an HB one, which is kind of in the middle, it's not that dark. So you can do a lot more shading with this one. And when you want to go darker, like in the pupils or the very dark parts, you can use the 5B one for that. But for now, this is good, I think. If we go down there, important is also how long this one is, like this streak down here. Sometimes in some animals it goes quite long, and here it's about, I don't know, maybe 2/3 of the nose, around that. And then it goes here. Also, this angle is quite important as well. It's different in the animals as well. This is, I don't know, maybe 45 degrees. Something like that. And it goes up here to It's very loose. And then you can't see it in that picture, but in the other one, you have the lower lip as well that catches a little bit of reflection. I don't know if you can see. I think you can a little bit. Or sometimes that's a nice add-on as well. When you draw the lower lip here, to add a little bit of reflection there. And here also, it's not straight from lip to fur, but it starts slowly and there's like very small hairs and sometimes dark splotches in between. And it goes into long white fur down here. But also, you don't notice this when you think you know a lion's face. That's all the small details. Like this, it's very roughly, we know how it should look like. And then there's the chin going in all different directions. The hair. And what I really like about lions as well is these fur splotches there at the end of their lips. But it's not just lip, that's black fur. You can see it here. And not that good here. Maybe here. So actually the lip ends here. And the rest there is black fur. It makes it really stand out, I think. Looks very cool on lions. And sometimes you can see that in the straight view here as well. Here, it's a little bit darker. You can see it there as well. Maybe we can add it here too. Yeah. So, and then what I would do is maybe focus on this bit here. So we see already it connects to the eye, kind of. So there's like a streak down from the eye. And then there's white bits all around the nose and brown bits here. And here it's darker and down there it's darker too. And also the length of the hair is interesting too. It's very short around here and up here. And here it gets a little bit longer. And also the whiskers have different colors here as well. So those are white and these are black, if you can see them. And when you do watercolor painting or acrylic painting, you can add white and black hair if you want to. Also, you don't just have whiskers down here, but you also have them up here. You can't see that on this one, but on cats, sometimes you see it. Here, you can see them here too. They come out of those dark splotches. And if you look at that photo, you can see those dark splotches. Blotches are not as dark as in the lion before. So their faces look really, really, really different if you compare them. And also there's like a little mark, maybe from a fight. And there's a lot of differences in different lions. Yeah, so you can see why animal keepers can differ between them so easily, even without drawing them. I'm just thinking what would be helpful for you as well. How much time do we have left, Brittany?
We have about 5 minutes before we start the Q&A.
5 minutes. Maybe we will focus a little bit on the ears as well. That might be helpful too. I'll take a new page. Yeah, so ears are also important. When you draw lion's ears, it's just like before. I look at the shape again, so it's not completely a half circle, but it's like elongated here, and it has very fluffy hair here to begin with, and it has the elongated shape there. Fluffy hair, very rough in the beginning. Usually you go from rough to detailed. Very often people go to detailed too fast, and that's where it starts to yeah, you see it in the end because the shapes don't match. It's very detailed and nice, but the shapes are not completely right. So you avoid this by going rough in the beginning. So this is about right. Then you see the furry parts go down here. And here's a very dark part. That's the shadowy area. Here we have very long hair. Go down there. And here we have very short and darker hair. And it's actually almost black in the tips of the hair. Like this. And also nice to know, because sometimes people draw these hairs going all in the same direction, but actually they choose very different directions. And sometimes they stick together on their tips, like this strand here, and they go right over each other. So sometimes it's good to practice drawing hair before, actually, because especially with pencil, it's not that easy. With bright hair, it's a lot easier with acrylics when you can actually use a bright color. But here you would need to draw hair like this and then cross it like there and leave it out here. If you know what I mean. It's not that easy with a pencil. It takes a lot more patience. And it looks cooler when you make them cross each other and not go on into the same direction, which is unnatural, actually.
Almost like you have to focus on the negative space rather than drawing the hairs themselves.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, in this case. And this time, just drawing negative space, which is a really cool technique, actually, to be able to use. And we have this little pocket here. There's black hair there, then here it goes bright, and up here it's quite white even. And we have this short hair that you can extend all the way up here. I'm not drawing that because that takes too much time. It's just for us to know that it is short and it's quite dark, also in comparison to the other hairs. And what is also helpful is the spectrum of dark to bright. Because sometimes when people draw, they use like this as a dark color and this as a bright color, and there's not a lot of difference there. And it's really cool when you use all the range that you can create, like a really dark color, and then like everything you get in between, and the very bright ones, like all the range, and not go too fast from dark to bright. There's not a lot of range in there. But when we make these parts, for example, super dark, like you see in the photo, they're like pitch black. And then for these parts, don't leave them white like I do here, but use all the shades that you have. And keep a little bit like these white hairs to leave completely white. And it also takes a lot of practice to know what shade is best to use, and how to pick like one shade in all of this. Not just to use this and this, but a lot of them. It makes it look a lot more realistic and nicer to the eye. Yeah, I think that's the basics of the lion's ear. And we don't have a lot of time left, I think. Let's see.
Yeah, actually, do you want to start the Q&A?
Yeah, we can. I think that's a good time.
So if you have a question for Sarah, now's the time to ask. Please type it in the chat. I will ask it. We did get a question earlier, but before we get to that, do you want to just show us a couple of examples of things that we might do in the mini workshop? Because I know we have 3 options to choose from.
Yes. So I need to choose 3 animals, and you can choose Maybe should I give you the number, Brittany, that to show? So you can choose for 3 animals. We have a horse, a whale, or an owl that we can draw together in my mini workshop. And I wanted to let you choose to make it a little bit more interactive. So for the ones watching live, not the ones watching later on YouTube. And I'd have you go, I'll change the camera again, to menti.com. And you can type in that number, and then you can choose one of these 3 animals, and the winner we will do in the mini workshop. And not only the face, like here, but we'll have a lot more time and do different body postures as well, and go a little bit more into detail in everything. Also, legs are a big part, and yeah, different movements, whatever. Depends on the animal. If it's an owl, we can do different flight postures. And yeah, we have 1 land animal, 1 water animal, and 1 animal in the air, like for the owl. You can choose there. And also, if it's possible, I'm not sure if it works out for the masterclass, there should be another field that you can fill in with the animal that you would like to be able to draw by heart. And we can choose the most popular one for the masterclass then. Not sure if that works out, but we can see. We have two votes for the owl already. Nice. And 1 for the whale. I can share this here, maybe. No.
Why don't we let everybody vote, and then after the Q&A, we can announce the winner.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so everyone has a little bit more time. Yeah, good idea.
All right, so I'll ask the question that was posted earlier in the chat. In the meantime, if you have any questions for Sarah, please don't be shy. Just type them on in the chat there. So the question that we got earlier, do you like to draw from an iPad rather than a paper reference? If so, why?
Not really. Actually, this one I borrowed just to be able to show you next to me drawing, because it's a lot nicer to look at the same photo I'm looking at the right time, and the same part of the picture. So this was quite good. Actually, it's very handy because you can zoom in and it's very sharp. And when you want to draw from a piece of paper, you have to print it. And sometimes it's not that detailed. You can't zoom in that much. It has a lot of advantages. When I can draw from a piece of paper, I prefer that because it's something without screen. And we do look at screens a lot of times. And it's very nice to just not look at a screen for some time. But usually I do use a laptop to draw from. Yeah, I'm just used to it. It depends on what you like. And if you print it, it has some advantages too. In former times, I used some books from my parents. They're both zoologists and have a lot of animal books, so I used to look in them and just look for animals that I'd like to paint. And that's a very good source as well, also for inspiration, which animal to paint next. There's such strange animals in this world, and they're very nice to draw sometimes.
Thank you for that question, and what a great answer. The next question here, do you ever watercolor your work?
Yes, I do, actually. I don't draw that much. Usually I use it for giving shape for watercoloring later, and you can also combine it very easily. So I really like to watercolor my work. Yeah. Also, when you use water, it's a lot more unpredictable than the pen. You can use salt and let it run, and depending on how much water and how much color you use, it just goes somewhere. And I really like the unpredictability of watercolors. And you can also play with it a lot more than with pencils. But for studies, for anatomical studies, and like to get a feeling for the animal itself without color first, I think pencil is just the best. Also, I used whatever pen was around, like the normal ballpoint pens. They are perfect for that too. And also they force you to go more loose because you can't erase. That's a big plus for those as well. But watercolors is one of my favorite for colors, yes.
Awesome. This question, I would love to know your answer. What came first, the art or the desire to care for animals?
Well, for me, I can't tell. I really can't tell. I've been drawing since you always say since I can hold a pencil, but it's really like this. I can't tell when it started. And I've also loved to care for animals. We all always had some, and it was always a passion of mine. So I can't tell. They're both the same.
It's kind of like the chicken or the egg.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't know.
Although in that one, actually, the egg came first because dinosaurs had eggs before chickens ever lived.
Very true. Very true. Good point. Can we see some of her watercolor work now? Yeah, good point. I think
yes.
now's a good time.
I can show you some. I have prepared something. Let's see. All right. So I just chose a few that I had next to me.
Wow.
This is one of my first oil paintings, actually. So I don't paint with oil a lot because I have there's water soluble ones and ones that are not water soluble, and I have the latter. And it's a big mess because it stinks and it makes your brushes go bad, and I still haven't figured out how to do it correctly. But when I do paint, it's very nice because you can blend colors super easily, and you don't need to rush like in acrylics, but you can just take your time. So I really like that technique of watercolor of oil paintings. But yeah, maybe in the future more. So that's a few watercolors there. Sorry, it's quite yellowish. So maybe I can. Is that better? A little bit. Porpoises, for example, I did those. I was at a whale rescue station for a month, and we were caring for two baby porpoises, and who got stranded in the Netherlands. And I was a big fan of those, so I painted a lot of those. They're very cute. And then I did some dinosaurs here. You see, I go into a lot of detail. You see them here. Which is something I need to, I wanted to get a little bit looser in the future. But let's see. Recently, I started painting on walls actually with spray paint. Cute.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. And it forces you to go loose. That's very nice. You can't go into detail there.
Yeah.
It's just not possible. And I did foxes. And these are from.
Oh, I love that fox. That's so cute.
Thank you. It's just like a series where I played around with salt as well, because that's just like watercolor and salt, and I really like the texture, and I want to combine it with animals, and that's fine liners here as well, combined with it. And that's kind of the same with circles, cats as well. And that was a little bit of dot work I tried. It's also very nice, but it takes so much time to do all the dots, and it's not as easy actually.
For sure.
And that's for.
These are all so great. Thank you so much.
Thanks. I think we're we're done. That's the last two I did. That's like a shiny. I don't know if you see it, but it has shiny
yeah, I
blue
can see it.
color on it. Yeah.
Oh,
like
wow,
this.
that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to try this out, and I really like these concepts as well, like the flowers
I love the
and
composition.
animals, and yeah, like those as well. Yeah, that's a few of my work.
So cool. I love your composition style.
Thanks a lot. Thanks. It's very nice to just try different things. For me, it's hard to choose one style because I really like to try a lot of different things. Like now I started spray painting, and recently I started pottery, and now I really would like to start chainsaw carving. How do you call it?
Oh, wow.
That would be really cool too, maybe next summer. And there's so many different styles that you can try, and it's very hard for me to just stick with one. And like everyone tells you, just choose one style and stick with it, and everyone will know your work. And
I know what you mean. I also struggle with that. I find a new medium and I just want to try it, and I get all excited to try new things all the time. So that's super cool to know that other people are in the same boat. I'm sure the people watching also feel like that.
Yeah, I can guess so.
Okay, so curious to know, what are we going to be painting in the mini workshop, or drawing, I should say, in the mini workshop?
What were the results? Like we're gonna do an owl. Nice. So we will do an owl in the mini workshop. Yeah, quite definitely. I can show you maybe here. Oh no. So there's 9 votes for owl, 3 for whale, and 1 for horse. So we're gonna do a barren owl. I chose. It's also very nice to draw. Okay, so we'll focus on the body there, and also I can show you the feathers, like especially on the arm or the wings, that are very quite special on birds, and like there's different parts of it, and they're very interesting, super interesting structure, and also they're moving. Obviously they're moving a lot, and you can draw them in a lot of different movements there. And I have some quite nice photos of them that we can work on. That would be very nice. Also to be able to draw them by heart, like in Harry Potter style, maybe with a letter in the beak. That would be very nice. The cool thing is, when you know how to draw an animal by heart, you can draw them in any posture you like, and you don't need to stick with the ones that you see in the photos. You can just invent one and make it look real. That's nice.
That's so true. Very good point. I can't wait to see how the owl is going to turn out now. I know for sure I'm going to go back and watch this lioness examples that you've showed us. I for sure love big cats, so I'm definitely going to want to. Yeah, you did a really good job of displaying the different anatomy and how to go about it, and the approach. Really simplified things. So thank you very much for those explanations.
Thank you. And also when you your watches, I told me, when you draw your lioness now, after you have practiced a little bit with pictures, maybe you can, when you post it on Instagram, you can use the hashtag lioness by heart. And we can post it in the description as well, or something, so so we can all see our works and our improvements. And yeah, that would be very nice. And you can also tag me. My name on Instagram is Travel Okapi. So I'll see all of them and share them. And I think there's an Etcher hashtag as well, isn't there?
Yeah, it's hashtag Etcher Studio. I'll also put that hashtag in the chat. Thank you everybody for joining. I'm also going to, I put it earlier in the chat, but in case you missed it, here's a quick little survey. It takes less than 2 minutes to fill out. It's mainly just multiple choice with a little comment section at the bottom. It really helps us for improving future content, and just little things that you think that we might want to know for future, or things that you want to see in the future from us, especially for these last few live demos. We recently shortened them from an hour to a half an hour. So we'd really like to know your input on that, especially. Can you share Sarah's Instagram handle? Yeah, here, let me grab it. Sarah, what was it again? Sorry.
Travel Okapi. Wait, it's travel, like traveling, and Okapi is my favorite animal. I don't know if you know that one.
I think I have it just on file in your email, just so I make sure I spell everything.
There it is.
Or yeah, if you want to just put it there. Here, I'll speaker view it. Travel. Okapi, right?
Yes, yes, it is. It's a relative of the giraffe. It's like a short-necked giraffe. They're very cute. You need to Google them.
Oh, I do know what that is. Yeah, those are super cool.
Yes, they're very nice.
For some reason, I didn't think that they were a real animal. I thought they were like a fantasy animal.
Yes, they do look like one. Yeah, they just discovered them like 100 years ago, and everyone thought they were unicorns.
Yeah, they're so cool.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining today. It's been a wonderful session. Thank you again, Sarah, for the amazing lesson. I know I'm excited to see what's going to go on in the mini workshop. In case you missed the link to her mini workshop, I'll post it again in the chat just quickly before we go.
I think it's not working yet because we haven't chosen the animals before, but maybe it works now that we chose the owl.
Quite possibly, or it might be available in the next hour. If not, please just check on it periodically if you want to sign up. I know that the details page is up, but yeah, it just says currently there's an option between the 3 animals to choose from. So if you want to sign up, just make sure that you check back in on that page. And the class will be on October 8th. If you can't make it for that day and time, don't worry, you will be sent a recording of the session. If you missed anything in today's session, it will be posted later on our channel. Thank you again so much for everybody for joining, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.